Chief Technology Assessor Quixtle's tentacles writhed with barely contained amusement as he transmitted his evaluation to the Hegemony Science Council. The human delegation had finally arrived at the Galactic Technology Exchange, and their equipment was quaint. Honored counselors, his report began, the human representatives present technology that appears to be several centuries behind galactic standard. Their starships utilize primitive fusion drives, their computers operate on binary processing systems, and their weapons are based on accelerated projectiles and controlled explosive reactions. He manipulated the holographic display with his primary manipulator appendages, highlighting the human vessels that had docked at the exchange station. Most remarkably, they seem proud of these antiquated systems. They have requested to demonstrate what they call their latest innovations to the assembled species. Senior Science Coordinator Velmac's crystalline form resonated with harmonic laughter. How delightfully naive. Perhaps we should humor them before explaining how real civilizations harness quantum consciousness fields and dimensional membrane technologies. The Galactic Technology Exchange was the pinnacle of interspecies scientific cooperation. Every major civilization contributed their most advanced innovations. The Zephyrians brought their temporal manipulation matrices. The crystalline hierarchy demonstrated their living metal consciousness transfers, and the void dwellers shared their dark matter processors. And then there were the humans, who had apparently brought museum pieces. Dr. James Chen, leading the human delegation, seemed oblivious to the barely concealed condescension as he began his presentation in the main demonstration chamber. His equipment looked like it belonged in an archaeological exhibit. Metal constructs with visible moving parts, screen displays that emitted photons in the visible spectrum, and computational devices that generated heat as a waste product. "We're honored to present humanity's latest technological achievements," Dr. Chen announced, activating what appeared to be a basic holographic projector. "Our current generation of interstellar vessels, artificial intelligence systems, and defensive platforms." Assessor Quixtle's tentacles curled in what his species considered polite attention, though privately he wondered why the exchange committee had even approved human participation. Their fusion drives were the kind of technology most species had abandoned when they discovered zero-point energy extraction. "Our ship design philosophy," Dr. Chen continued, emphasizes redundancy, maintainability, and adaptability. Every system has multiple backups, all components can be repaired with basic tools, and the entire vessel can be reconfigured for different mission parameters. The assembled alien scientists exchanged glances that conveyed polite boredom. Redundancy was the hallmark of primitive engineering. Advanced civilizations built systems that didn't fail. "Our computing architecture," Dr. Chen gestured to what looked like a primitive server array, processes information through distributed parallel networks with quantum error correction and self-modifying code structures. Coordinator Velmac's harmonics shifted to a frequency that conveyed gentle correction. "Dr. Chen, while your enthusiasm is admirable, the technology you're describing sounds remarkably similar to the computational matrices we developed approximately 700 cycles ago, before we discovered consciousness field processing." Dr. Chen paused, seeming to consider this comment carefully. 700 cycles? That's interesting. Could you tell me more about when you transitioned away from these systems? "Oh, certainly," Velmac replied, warming to the topic. "We abandoned such primitive approaches when we realized we could interface directly with quantum consciousness fields. Much more elegant, much more efficient." "And how do those consciousness field systems perform when subjected to electromagnetic pulse interference?" Dr. Chen asked casually. "Well, naturally, they're somewhat vulnerable to quantum decoherence events, but such occurrences are extremely rare in civilized space. What about gravitational wave distortions from stellar phenomena?" Velmac's harmonics became slightly less confident. "There can be some sensitivity to unexpected gravitational fluctuations. Temporal anomalies? Those can cause difficulties. Dr. Chen nodded thoughtfully. And if your consciousness field processors encounter an environment where quantum coherence is disrupted, what backup systems do you imply? The silence in the demonstration chamber stretched uncomfortably long. Backup? Systems? Assessor Quixthal's tentacles had stopped writhing. Yes, Dr. Chen said gently. What technology do you fall back on when your primary systems fail? Another pause, this one heavy with dawning realization. Dr. Chen, Coordinator Velmac's harmonics carried a new note of uncertainty. Exactly how long has humanity been using the technologies you've demonstrated today? These specific configurations? About 40 years, but the underlying principles? Dr. Chen smiled. We developed most of these approaches roughly 700 years ago, during our first expansion beyond Earth. We've been refining them ever since. He gestured toward his equipment with new meaning. What you're seeing isn't our most advanced technology, it's our most reliable technology. The systems we use when we absolutely cannot afford failure. The demonstration chamber had become very quiet. Our consciousness field processors are extremely advanced, Dr. Chen continued conversationally. We developed them about 200 years ago. Our temporal manipulation systems are quite elegant. We finished the theoretical framework about 50 years ago. Our dimensional membrane interfaces are particularly sophisticated. Assessor Quixthal felt something that his species rarely experienced, the cold touch of genuine concern. Then why are you showing us these primitive systems? Dr. Chen's smile was not unkind, but it carried an edge that made several species present remember that humans had evolved as persistence hunters. Because these are the systems that still work when everything else fails, he explained. 700 years of warfare, exploration, and disaster have taught us that the most advanced technology is often the most fragile. These primitive systems have never let us down. He activated another display showing human colonies scattered across dozens of star systems. Every one of these settlements was established using technology you'd consider ancient. Every human warship carries systems you'd classify as obsolete. Every human colony can maintain and repair its infrastructure using tools and knowledge that date back 7 centuries. The implications struck the assembled scientists like a stellar shockwave. Every other species had abandoned their foundational technologies in favor of increasingly sophisticated but fragile alternatives. The humans had kept building on theirs. So, when you encounter quantum decoherence, Dr. Chen said gently, you lose your computers. When we encounter quantum decoherence, we switch to our 700-year-old backup systems and keep working. Assessor Quixthal realized with growing horror that humanity hadn't brought their primitive technology to show off. They had brought it to demonstrate exactly how dangerous a species could be when they made reliability more important than sophistication. And they had been building that reliability for 700 years.